from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and bakers. Hello, bakers. It's time for the podcaster who is here to go put you to sleep, keep you company, take your mind off stuff, to be your friend in the deep, dark night. Welcome if you're new. This is a friendly show to keep you company and distract you, to give you something somewhat nice to listen to and think about here in the deep, dark night. To be your goofy friend tonight, like we'll cover Great British Bake Off, episode 9. And, wow, this one I didn't have, like, I'll tell you, in a sleepy way, I was surprised by this one. But don't worry, because you won't even know what I'm talking about if you listen to it. You could always listen during the day. But yeah, this is a podcast that's here to keep you company if you're new, take your mind off stuff. Structure we got coming up, support, so the paying for the podcast is optional. Then a long, meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. And then we'll talk about Bake Off. So yeah, I'm glad you're here. If you're new, welcome. Just see how it goes. It takes a couple of people a few tries. If you're a regular listener, if you're a super listener, and this podcast makes your life better, think about opting in and supporting the show back so we can be here for you and for everybody else. Yeah, what do you say? And if you're interested in that, these are the ways we're able to do it for you.
This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep, and they've got some amazing deals coming up. You're going to hear about it at the end of this ad read, so do not miss out. I want you to right now to open up your phone. Just do it with me. I'm going to go to helixsleep.com/sleep, and if I were you, I wouldn't want to, I don't know what your relationship with your bed is right now. I've had a long-term relationship with my Helix mattress. It fits my needs, how I sleep. I sleep on my side, I sleep on my stomach, but now I'm sleeping more on my back, and I'm relocating, and unfortunately I'm not in a position where I could ship my mattress because I have to move my stuff before I move, but that's okay. It means I get a new Helix. So I'm going to take the Helix quiz right now, helixsleep.com/sleep, 30 seconds, and you can, okay, 1 or 2 sleepers. 1. Okay, let me put in my email. Put in my name here, give a little bit of information. Okay, what size mattress am I considering? I got that down. All right. I don't know if are you taking this quiz with me at helixsleep.com/sleep? All right, toss. I guess I toss and turn. So I'm going to pick toss and turn. And what kind of firmness? Okay, I'm going to pick my firmness that fits my needs. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get yours, Okay, I'm going to talk about my back there, talk about temperature. All right, I got matched with my mattress. Oh, boy, and it's a different one than I have now just because I made a couple changes to how I sleep. So I'm going to check this out and think about it for my next Helix I'm going to be sleeping in. So take that Helix quiz. It's going to be coming right to your door, but most of all, it'll be a mattress that fits you, your needs, and how you sleep. And the best news is that Helix has amazing deals for Sleep With Me listeners, but only if you use our link. So go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 25% off site-wide during their extended Labor Day sale. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for 25% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Hey, are you a listener that falls asleep very fast? Please listen. I hope if you don't fall asleep yet, please. If you fall asleep fast, I really need your attention. The thing is, we root for fall asleep fast listeners, right? Especially a lot, like not just me, but all the other listeners out there. Man, you're a super listener and you fall asleep fast. This podcast has really changed things for you, huh? And I got to admit, some of us are jealous. You put the podcast on, you fall asleep fast. You're proof the podcast works, even in unintended ways, because most people are winding down during this part of the show. But the other thing is, if you fall asleep fast, you really are the only fall asleep fast person paying attention to me right now and listening to me. And I really appreciate you hearing me. You got a couple options here to participate in the future of the podcast. The first one is just by thinking about the other people that fall asleep fast and sending your comfort to them and smiling that maybe they're already, all the other fall asleep fast listeners are falling asleep. They're already asleep, or they're in that state where they're drifting off. Can you root for them and send them comfort? Send them some relief in the deep, dark night, or reassurance. That's cool. We're glad you're falling asleep fast. Or are you in a place where you need that comfort from all the other listeners? You're not falling asleep fast right now. Maybe you will in a few minutes after you pay attention to me. I appreciate it. But that all those other listeners are rooting for you. And they're happy and jealous. You fall asleep fast most nights you listen to the show. This is great. They're smiling. Can you feel other people across the world smiling and kind of laughing with you? And then do you want to do both of those things for other listeners? Smile and laugh with them and feel their smile and their kindness and their relief for you. You could do either one, or you could do both. And then I'm not sure which of the fall asleep fast listeners you want to be right now. If you're paying attention to me, listen to me right now. You could be the one who's rooting for another fall asleep fast listener who's listening and hearing me right now to support the show. And you could even kind of start a chant with me: fall asleep fast, fall asleep fast, fall asleep fast. Like building towards a very mythological but sleepy, crescendo. Yeah. Or are you the person, the one fall asleep fast listener who I'm rooting for and all these other people are rooting for fall asleep fast, who's going to support the show, whether it's to keep falling asleep fast, because Sleeping Me Plus was built with fall asleep fast listeners in mind. There's no ads. There's a bunch of different formats to the show. Or is it because, I fall asleep fast, the only... Like, it's kind of, there's not really any other styles of podcasts that are successful but desperate for the support of people that barely listen to the show. But I'm desperate. That's why I'm rooting for those fall asleep fast listeners. So if you're the one, you could be rooting for other listeners. You could be rooting for that listener to support the show. Or maybe you're the one. If you're the one, you're going to fall asleep fast either in a few seconds or tomorrow. So don't wait. If you're a fall asleep fast listener and you can feel those vibes cheering for you to support the show, please support the show right now at sleepingmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks. Oh, Mystery Bart. A lot of people help out on this show. Who are they?
Posty poster son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bart. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support your scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Hannah like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And don't forget, the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me is with sleep phones. You can get sleep phones at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones and you sleep with me for $5 off at checkout. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones. You sleep with me at checkout. What do you say we get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. That could be thoughts, things on your mind, thoughts about the past, present, the future, thinking thoughts, physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be going through something. You could be in the middle of something, getting over something. You could be you work a new schedule, a different shift. You could have guests or be traveling. Whatever it is, what I'm going to do here is take your mind off stuff and keep you company so you don't, like a mild distraction to all that. So, and the only reason I kind of list all that stuff is for a couple pieces so that you can feel seen and get some good positive news. But it's really the reasons I make the show and the reason that it works for the people it works for, which is not everybody. And I'll talk about that too. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay. If you don't like me, that's okay too. But everything I say here is actually going to be true, even if you strongly dislike me. The thing is, whatever it is that you're dealing with that brought you here, it probably doesn't feel good. Even if it's like a good thing, like the holiday season, kids have trouble sleeping, right? But to nobody, they're waiting for the old Kringle to get there, right? Even though this isn't the Kringle season. Though at Trader Joe's, it might be Kringle season, but it's a different kind of Kringle. It's like a pastry. But the Kringle season, what was I talking about? Oh, so when it's the Kringle season, the kids can't sleep a lot of times because they're like, oh boy, I got to get up and see if Kringle came by. Christopher Kringle's the name. Delivering presents, being alluded to as present delivery person is my game right now. Thanks, Chris Kringle, Chris Cross. Like both of you to meet each other. That's Chris. We're both Christophers. Neither one of us. Okay. Sorry about that. Christopher Cross. Can you please step out of here because I'm in the middle of something. Please sail away. Thank you. Christopher Kringle. Oh, so the Christopher Kringle season, kids are like, oh boy, I can't sleep because I got to see if Kringle came. And then if you're an adult in that house, you say, you got to go to sleep so I can, help the Kringling. And those are positive reasons you can't sleep. Or if it's your actually, I think this was a positive reason. My daughter's birthday was just recently, and I didn't sleep good the night before. I was trying to surprise her with some balloons. And I don't know if that was the whole reason I couldn't sleep, but I had a terrible night's sleep. I guess my point is why, for whatever reason you can't sleep, it probably has feelings related to it, right? And the physical sensations and thoughts. But there's something below all that stuff. There's another layer of feelings, right? And I know what that feels like for me. Even when I couldn't sleep on my daughter's birthday, I was like, man, stinks. Because what if I get in a grouchy mood or whatever and it wasn't like I fell asleep, but I kept waking up kind of thing. So I had feelings about that. And I think we can relate about those things. Even if I don't know what you're going through, I know what it feels like for me. And if it feels anything like that for you, I feel for you. And I hope I can help by telling you a bedtime story so you could get the rest you need because you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve the rest you need so your life is more manageable tomorrow and that you can get the rest you need so on an ongoing basis your life is better. Now, the other thing is there's people listening around the world, and there's regular listeners. There's people who listen all the time who've been listening for years. And right now they're in bed thinking of you in the same way I am, We're doing this together in an indirect way. And they're saying, man, and some of those people have been through something very similar to whatever's keeping you awake or getting in the way, whatever brought you here. And they're glad you're here. They are rooting for you. They're not just seeing you in an indirect way. They're rooting for you because they say, I hope this podcast helps you like it helped me. I hope it can finally give you some relief, like it did for me. And the thing is, like, for the people that are doing it right now, it feels good. And maybe for you, maybe if you're new, it doesn't feel good yet, but it will at some point. But it doesn't have to. Even that's optional. Sleep with me. Feeling good is optional. But it's just important to point out that this is a nice place. It's not as foo-foo as that normally, or whatever word you want to use. I don't know what you call it. Directly care. We do indirect caring here. Or intimacy, indirect pseudo-intimacy. Holy cow. If I've been talk about, but you know what I mean? Like, this is a kind of indirectly warm place. So I'm glad you're here. I hope we can help you out. The way it works is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. I go off topic. I get mixed up. I forget what I was talking about. Then I double back. Then I repeat myself. I get confused. I use filler words. My thoughts stall out. All those things because I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off stuff, not put you to sleep. And that does take some getting used to. Like, if you got here through a search or through a recommendation, you're probably tired. You're probably skeptical. You're probably doubtful. You're probably irritable. I am. I mean, I normally am in all those situations. And all I can tell you is, give this show a few tries and see how it goes. You got nothing to lose, but it does take some getting used to because you probably got here and said, I thought you were going to put me to sleep. This is a popular sleep podcast. I thought this isn't sleepy at all. This is nonsense. I say, yeah, it is. You're right. So just see how it goes, because this is a podcast you don't exactly listen to. You just kind of barely listen. It's a bit like background noise you could listen to, or a TV on in the other room, or a show streaming under your pillow, or music, on the wind. Maybe Christopher Cross, if you say, yeah, not during the podcast. You could sing on your boat, like down the, whatever. What are you, in a boat in the clouds anyway? I have no idea. So, yeah, it's kind of like elevated background noise or out of focus picture. So I guess sometimes when you first get here, it could be as frustrating as out of focus picture. So just give it a few tries and see how it goes. I'm also not here to put you to sleep, believe it or not. Been making the show 11 years plus, and the idea of making a sleep podcast. But this is a podcast that doesn't put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company and distract you so you could fall asleep, or maybe you fall asleep. But there's no pressure to fall asleep with this show. I'm going to be here over an hour, so you don't have to worry about it. You say, okay, I don't have to worry about falling asleep. He's going to be here over an hour. He's going to be here to keep me company and take my mind off of stuff. Because there's people who are listening who can't sleep at all, or who need a break during the day. So I'm here to the very end, whether you're listening or not. Because my job is to be a friendly voice in the deep, dark night, a friendly distraction. I'm here to be your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore sib, your bore bud, your neighbor, your bore bee, your Boris Borloff, your bore bud, your bore sib, your bore cuz, your bore bruh, your best bore friend forever, to keep you company and just to be a distraction. Just like if you're going to call somebody and say, hey, talk to me for a while. They or you have a roommate or someone, you're in a relationship with, they could do that once, right? but then they got to go to bed. Or they say, well, I got my own bedtime routine, you know. I got to go to sleep too. This podcast is that kind of service. What else do you need to know? Oh, structure the show. So no pressure to fall asleep, no pressure to listen. Structure the show is intentional, so I just want to meet you where you are if you're new or you're coming back. I mean, we haven't really changed anything in quite, this show's like slow-moving ship, so any changes are so slow that you only notice them if you skip like 2 or 3 years of episodes. But so structure shows structure in a very specific way to benefit the most amount of people we can. But there are ways to change how you listen. So here's how it works. Show starts off with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello bakers, or whatever I said. So you feel seen and welcomed in, and you say, okay, I could check that podcast out. Let me see how it goes. Then there's support. So the paying for the podcast is optional. Most people prefer to listen to this ad-supported version linearly. But if you prefer some of the ads, you can get that on Sleep With Me Plus. Then there's a long meandering intro, totally separate from the support. And that intro is meant to ease you into bedtime, not to put you to sleep. There is a small percentage of people that fall asleep during the intro. But for most people, they're winding down, they're in bed getting comfortable, they're getting ready for bed, or they're doing some chill activity to get ready for bed and to get eased into bedtime. And, that's like what the intro is. If you find you listen to the show a few times, you say, I don't like this intro. There's a version of the podcast without intros called Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me, where we just have the story, the greeting portion and the story portion. And, but the intro is to have like a buffer, and that's what's just been shown to work. What works for me most of the time is getting eased into bedtime. So that's the intro. Then there'll be support. Then there'll be our bedtime story, which will be an indirect, meandering recap of the second to last episode of this season of Great British Bake Off. It's all meant to keep you company and take your mind off stuff. I'm really glad you're here. I really appreciate you coming by. Myself and a team of people work really hard on the show because we believe in it, believe in being there for you in the deep, dark night. And we couldn't do it without the people that support the show back. And those are the people that get the most out of the show. So if you've gotten to that point where you're like, this podcast has changed my life, and you say, it's helped my life be less of a struggle, and you want to help the podcast because of that, you could do that. These are a couple ways you could do that. But thanks again for coming by. And here's the ways we're able to be here for you regularly. Hey, if Sleep With Me has changed your life for the better, think about supporting the show at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. All right, but this is Scoots. We're trying to reset and get the super listeners on this campaign for super listeners to support the show. And the thing is, it really does come down to, well, particularly if you are an all-night listener or you fall asleep fast and you're hearing me, I really do need your attention. But if you listen 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nights a week, if you've listened for longer than a year, if you've listened longer than 3 years, if the podcast has changed your life, I do need your attention. And here's the thing. Now we got options, right? I want everybody to be a participant in this, and I'll just run through the ways you could participate. And a lot of them you could do right now from the comfort of your own bedroom or wherever you are. And even if you're a new listener or a temporary listener or a situational listener or somebody just going through a hard time right now, you could participate too. But again, if you're an all-night listener or fall asleep fast, I really want you to lean into this, which is like the first part of it is like sending or thinking about sending your comfort across the deep, dark night to another listener. And maybe it starts with a super listener who listens just like you, but knowing they're out there somewhere in the world, or maybe it's a future super listener, somebody that's new, just like you were new, Can you send them comfort across the deep dark night? You just barely smile for them and just think, I'm glad you're here. I hope this podcast can help you. Do you want to do that, right? Do you want to participate in that? Or are you in a place right now where you need that comfort to come into you? Do you want to receive it right now? Or just know that it's out there? Because I don't know if I'm in the receiving mood, right? But do you want to do that? Like, be like, man, there's other listeners. And this is true, by the way, that there's other listeners right now rooting for you. People that listen differently than the way you do, and people that are similar, whatever is keeping you awake or getting in the way of you getting the rest, or your listening style, that there's other listeners right now rooting for you. So those are two ways you could participate, or you could do both, right? You could send out some comfort and you could receive that comfort right now. Or you could alternate or whatever works for you. But I'd love it, just like I talk about in the intros, for you to be a little bit more of a part of that. And again, it's passive, right? But then we're also rooting, and maybe you could root for me together, that someone, and maybe it's you, is listening and hearing me right now. And the podcast has changed your life to a degree where you're paying attention. And maybe you're an all-night listener. The show will not go on without more all-night listeners and people fall asleep fast supporting the show. And you want to be that one that's like, man, I guess I just didn't hear you all those other times, or I wasn't really listening. And that's okay, because we're rooting for that one person, 1 out of 20 super listeners. So I don't know. Are you one of the 19 people who are rooting right now, or can you feel those 19 people rooting for you? You've been thinking about supporting the show. Maybe it's for the bonus content. Maybe it's because the podcast has changed your life, or maybe you're just curious to check it out. There's 19 other super listeners rooting for you to support the show right now, to be a hero, to be a heroine, to change the future of sleep with me. And believe me, I'm rooting for you because we need your support. If you're listening to me, if you're hearing me right now, and if you're that one person, please don't wait. You could support the show. You could get access to Sleep With Me Plus, which is built with super listeners in mind. It'll change the way you listen to the show because it's built with people. It's ad-free. It's amazing because we built it with super listeners in mind. And think about those 19 people that are rooting for you. And even if it's indirect gratitude, not only has the podcast changed your life, it's changed those 19 people's lives that are also rooting for you to support the show. So you could do all that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Everybody, Scoots here. It's time for episode 9 of Great British Bake Off. It's Patisserie week here on Bake Off, and I'm starting the motion. Patisserie something, Skirtles down Solly. Noel? Let's see. Wait a second. I don't remember this. Oh, wait, I guess maybe I do. Hello, Freddie Mercury. Oh, wait, because is this the wrong season? It's got to be. It's got to be the wrong season, right? Scrabbles down slowly. Yeah, I don't think this is the season I've been watching. Yeah, no, that's why. Spoiler. There'll be Freddie Mercury, Matt, and as Freddie Mercury and Noel as Ziggy Stardust in the series Collection 9. All right, let's get to where we're supposed to be. User Error by Scoots. Okay, so Patisserie Week, Collection 8, Episode 9. Okay, so there we go. Hello, viewer. I'm Noel and Matt. I love Patisserie. Tiny French cakes, the smaller the better. Even microscopic cakes. They've written a song about Patisserie. Noel has, but Matt says it's too surreal. Should have gone to sleep. I was up all night writing it. Welcome to Great British Baking Show. And then they dance and sing and spin and sing. And we get a drone shot, and we get a preview of the episode. The places in the final at stake. One person will go home. And, try to be as positive about this episode as I can. It's a hot day coming up. Talking heads. This is no longer home baking or about being a home baker versus a pro baker, is what the talking heads seem to say. And Ermine is a semi-pro or professional patissier, or at a pro level, in my opinion. This is a semifinal, 3-1 Peru. Let's see, exciting. Just watching the talking heads. You got Peter's excited. Laura's not feeling too confident. I'm just a home baker, she says. You're not a home baker to me. Dave's a little bit nervous. Everybody's nervous about Ermine because she's so good. She's really good. And she's like, this is what I enjoy doing. But pressure's on because everybody's trying to get to the final. Looks like a little wind is outside. Congratulations, making it to the semifinal. And 3, you'll be in the final. Both Noel and Matt have different print shirts on. Noel's is Hawaiian. Matt says I think those are bunny rabbits and waves, maybe? I don't know. There's musical notes. 12 identical patissiers. Petita Sovereign, yeasted enriched dough. Pate Sovereign, Sovereign, soaked in a syrup of your choosing once baked. This is the semifinal, so high-end, exquisite finish. 2 hours, 45 minutes. On your marks, get set, bake. And we begin. And everybody's stressed and excited. Soaked in syrup. A Savarun versus Savarin. Savarine. Savaran. You say Savaron. I say Savaran. They say Savarin. Peru is in a nice red. It's a strange dough. It's silky smooth. Sovereign. Old sovereigns. Shove them in the oven. You got to. It's all about proving the softness of the sponge. Beautiful, delicate flavors, according to Paul. Patissier is all about. It's a heat wave. Proving times will be shorter. Prue wants you to pay attention. Her frames match her red shirt. Really nice. But who's going to go through? These 4 are really good. So, yeah. Got to be pipeable. It'll bake beautifully, especially if you believe in alliteration like I do. Smooth, stretchy dough, silky smooth. And Paul goes to Ermine. Hello. Tell us about your sovereign, rum baba, glazed with an apricot jam. Give it a shine. Well, this should be your day. This is classic French, no pressure. Hope I can deliver. Rum baba with a vanilla creme pat. Sounds good. Piped chantilly cream. Now, you've won Star Baker twice. No one else has. Are you confident? Yeah, I don't want to have a big head. Well, you've had a handshake, too. Don't let it distract you. And concentrate on today, Bruce says. Do your best. Can you say apricot? Apricot. I think it's a handshake from Noel. I almost said Nicole. Battle of the Babas, though. Laura's also doing some sort of baba. Hey, did you learn from me? Copy me? They're having fun, though. They like each other. Laura's is a poached pineapple, kiwi, and passion fruit with pipettes of rum syrup, chantilly cream, fairly stavern dough. Really? Fresh yeast or what? What it gives it a better rise? Trick question from Paul. They say, just say yes, please. Don't listen to him. And Noel says, don't let Paul get in your head. So don't doubt yourself. Sovereign to savor. Sovereign to savra. Now, this is Dave. Bread type cake. but then you soak it in syrup. All the flavor comes from the syrup. Spices, rum, or an NA one. What's it? Not Peter. Yeah, Peter's doing an NA one. So I could have that. I don't think the alcohol cooks off, so I can't have the other ones. Dave's having a honey, tequila, mango, and passion fruit one. Honey and cocoa chantilly cream. And reminds me of this fish song, tequila. It's where it starts and where it ends. But he's going to try his best, Dave. Dave, you're so confident. Week after week, you've been listening. Different from when you got here. Good luck. Cheers. Okay. Jiminy Christmas, Noel says. And, okay, you don't want the alcohol to evaporate too much. And you want Prue to be happy. Patisserie demands. Don't overcomplicate it. Clean and professional. Peter's chosen to keep a clear head. He's not soaking his in alcohol. Elderflower cordial, lemon juice, water, and sugar. He doesn't drink, so teetotal sovereign, club sober, and leaves early, Noel says. He's giving him a hard time. His are going to be rectangular, lemon creme diplomat on top and something else. Noel says, or Paul says, we need old Peter. We got heat in the tent. Concentrate. Don't make mistakes. That's really helpful. Thanks a lot. So simple. Prue's a little bit more helpful. And he says, yeah, week 1 I was star baker. I got to take it back. Yeasted enriched dough. And Matt and Laura having fun with her dough, and Paul punching down the dough. Dave's laughing too. Matt's laughing. Sticky dough, man. Selling on eBay. Okay, first proof's done. Now Peter's going into a piping bag. How will we pipe such a substance? The sovereigns take shape. It's not easy because it's elastic. Dave's trying to keep even weight in each one so they all rise identically. So done. Then you got a second proving. Prove yourself twice. Prove me once, prove me twice. That would be a song Doe would sing. Could be shorter. Maybe you don't even need the proving drawer because of the temperature. 30 minutes, a lot of people are saying. 30 minutes to prove. Okay. And it's got to be perfect, Laura says. Don't let it go, whatever. I don't know. She exhales. Dave's pretty warm. 4,950 seconds. How long is that? Nobody knows. Matt says, the halfway. Rapidly rising. You need every second to make your fillings and toppings. A lot of flower prints in the tent today, or with flowers on them, tropical. I don't know if I'll have to see if I may have missed it the first few times. So far, Ermine's in denim, or denim color. Probably not denim because it's so warm. Ever seen Babar? Yeah, still watch it now, Matt says. Pingu? I love Pingu. He does the voice of Pingu. I don't know who any of those are, but I think I'm familiar with Babar the elephant. Okay, proving is done. And Laura's proved in the oven 15 at 175. It's a quick bake. 14 minutes for Hermine. 12 to 10 for Peter. And I missed what Laura, I don't know if she said it. She's got a fan. Noel's pestering Hermine about, maybe not pestering, just saying, yeah, you're so relaxed. And what about you versus Laura? Noel's like, you're gonna have to get to the final. You don't have to be so nice. He laughs. She's like, I'd rather be proud about how I win. And the people are looking in the oven. Hermine and what's the guy's name? Paul are not side by side, leaning over, looking. You don't want them under. Peter says, I'd rather be over slightly than under. Laura's are out. Dave's are out. Puffed up nicely. Light and airy. Feeling good. Really good. Paul, what's that guy's name? Dave says he thinks Paul thinks his are too dark, but he's happy. Oh, boy. Ermine says, maybe mine are underproved. Oh, dear. What should I do? Do another batch? Want it to be perfect. Semifinal. Let's start again. Okay, bakers, 1 hour left. Time flies when you're having fun, Laura says. Ermine's like, let's try again. This weather's not helping. Her babas are back at the beginning. Just a 15-minute prove. Everybody else is doing their shaping. Dave's dip. Oh, that's when you dip it in the liquid. The point is to saturate it. No dry spots. Hold as much syrup as it can. I don't know when I've had a syrup-soaked dessert. Is it tiramisu count as that? I guess so. Long soak, short soak. You say long soak. You say, what are these things called? Savrone. That's how Flavor Flav would say it. Savarone, Ferroni, Savirone. Okay, then you got to put your stuff in the fridge, your goopy stuff. And concentration station for Peter. Everybody's getting their decorations ready. Soaking my Savrin. Mango curd, uniform. Deep breaths. Do the best. Pick the best ones you can. 5 minutes left, though, bakers. And people's hands are shaking. 12 mango flowers, fiddly, roll them up. We got to make sure they're bang on. And leaning, extra syrup, pipettes. Time is up. Step away from your bakes. Everybody looks around. Can't believe I've just done that. Where are yours? Where are mine? Or means that we're, oh, okay, so this makes more sense. I was pretty sure this happened. But let me make sure. So Hermine goes and puts hers in the freezer to cool them down. So I think this is a pretty important thing that I don't know if I wasn't paying. I mean, I remember this happening when I was watching it and taking notes. But I don't remember them ever, like it's kind of like they ignored that this happened. And since it's a sleep podcast, well, because of the way this episode ends, I think this is really important to point out for me. Because of the fact they glossed over this. And this will be more soothing if I just tell it to you now. Because it actually wasn't soothing to me the way it happened with the editing. So I believe, I don't have any actual facts to go on, by the way. That's normal for me. Okay, so let me just see. This is at 42:34, right? Laura says, I can't believe I've just done that. She's smiling. Dave says, they say, time's up, put your, let's jump back. You're right. Okay. Again, it's edited out of order. So Ermine's trying to work on hers. That's at 42:51. Okay, then there's some dipping with Laura and piping. Then Dave's doing some toppings. Then they say time is up, but when we cut to Ermine, she's putting hers in the freezer and is still decorating them. And then they say, step away from your bakes. I don't know anything about the rules of the show. I'm just watching it. And then Dave says to Ermine, where are yours? She says, in the freezer. He says, oh, are they? And then I think we see her face. So her face says the truth, which is like, my food is in the freezer. It's not at my station. Technically, I'm not, like, I get a 0 for this. This is just what I'm trying to piece together. Then we see a beautiful moth and some flowers. Then we see the tents, and then they say, yeah, we're going to be judged by Paul and Prue, soaked sovereigns. Hello, Hermine. They come to her table, her workstation. Hers look gorgeous. And she smiles. Prue says, interesting, elegant. Paul says, love the pipe work, quite modern. There is a little irregularity on the colors, but let's have a look. Tempered chocolate disc. Prue takes a bite. Paul takes a bite. She's watching. Flavor. Alcohol's got a kick. It's creamy. Texture's all good. Underproved itself. Air holes are tight. Could have been more open. A little tough. Too bread-like. Flavor's lovely. Thank you. Okay, so let me just jump on another theory, maybe, if this is real. So the question I have is, is this a real judge or is it just for show, for editing, right? So either, I mean, many things could have happened, but in my trying to put pieces together, one, either Hermine's things were officially in the freezer and they said, well, we're going to judge it for the show. Well, officially you're not getting judged, but they don't tell us any of this, right? The other possibility is that she's so good that she did her first batch and finished those and made her second batch, which would have been better, or depending on the proving time, but based on her skills. And those are in the freezer, and these were her first batch, which were underproved, and her second batch may or may not be underproved. We don't know that. I guess I'm in fan fiction, but Prue loves the cream, and they say, well done. But she still makes a face, like, uncomfortable. So, Okay, Laura's poached pineapple, kiwi, passion fruit, rum, babas. They like the colors, golden brown, looks scrumptious, a bit messy on the icing and the bake. Different sizes, Paul says. But let's have a look. Rum in the pipette. Prue can get a little bit more rum there. Paul takes a bite. Prue says it's a lovely light sponge, beautiful. Some spice in there. Star anise and cinnamon. Cinnamon, huh? Overdid it on the spices. Paul says it's the little things. You're like a rough diamond. You need polishing. But Prue says it's a very good rum baba. No one would send it back in a restaurant, but Paul says I would, and I would ask for the chef. So they say, man. Then Dave's up next. I get a good shot of his. His are still soaking, too. And then, so yeah, that one's got a mark on it. Paul's being tough. Texture of the cake is light, okay. But it's almost impossible to get on the fork. And they really savor it. They're going slow. I think it's lovely. So does Prue. I don't get the curd at the bottom, though. It's a design thing, but we want that inside with the chocolate. And Prue says the flavors work, though. I thought there was going to be too many flavors, but it works. Thank you. All right, then we have Peter. Strawberry and elderflower babas. His are, rectangular. These are neat and uniform. Soaked, which is good. Lovely. Well, look at that. All right, I don't think I was going to like this. But that didn't have booze in it, Prue says, but she's like, it's delicious. Mouth-watering. Nice texture, classic. All I can say, Peter, is... he gets a handshake from Paul. And we say, holy moly, handshake from Paul. Everybody's like, minds are blown, actually. So that's good for him. And he goes, yeah, I got a handshake. He's giggling. Very cute. Laura says, I got my usual comments. I'm getting bored of it, to be honest. Hermine just says it's disappointing. You win some, you lose some. And Dave's feeling underwhelmed, but I'm going to go in with confidence. The technical will be a tough technical. So again, Hermine's disappointment does not line up with the way they judged her food. because hers would have been second or third place, not fourth place, I think. Okay, so now we got the technical. It's time for the technical. This one's set by Paul. Any words of advice? Methodical, this challenge. It's about precision. And they say, okay, and whatever, you two hit the road. And Matt says, where are they going? Where are they going? Like a puppy dog. I don't want them to go. Pull it together. So I kind of like their, I mean, especially on mute. I mean, not that they need to be. Danish cornucopia, traditional Danish celebration cake, otherwise known as the Horn of Plenty. Classic horn shape is stacking rings of dough. Firm on the outside, chewy on the inside. These faces, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Bake on your marks, get set, bake. They say that out of order. Danish cornucopia, never heard of it. No one could picture this, and I don't think anyone on Earth could have unless they made it. This would be more like American Bake Off or something, because I don't know how popular cornucopias are around the world. I mean, in the U.S., we have to have these cornucopias part of the autumnal season, right? Paul, Danish cornucopia, what's up? Perfect challenge, I think, for the bakers. No flour, it's ground almonds. You got to divide the dough up. You got to shape it. You got to make it round like a cigar, but taper the ends so they bind together, cigar shape, but with a slope. And then you piece them together and they curve. Say, what? I don't understand, man. And one side's got to be you got to have one side thicker than the other. You want to try some horn? Here, have the horn end, Peru. They both eat it. Chewy, almondy, gorgeous, soft almond filling. I love almond flavors. Crispy exterior. Okay. Bruce staring at hers. I mean, people are going to struggle with the shape. I hope they don't struggle with the texture. I mean, this is a good semifinal challenge, Bruce says. Not easy, very delicate, delicious. Okay, where am I? Dave says, oh, okay, make the dough. Icing, sugar, egg whites, some other stuff, I don't know. Almond flour, and no one's baked one before. Chewy, crisp outside, chewy on the inside, like an amaretti biscuit. Gonna have to work fast, is what Peter says. 2 hours and 15, not a long time. Noel hugs him. Okay. Yeah, he's a little distracting. And you're going back and forth. Come on, man. He's got, kind of flower, what's it, like, floral. So there is floral patterns. Not everybody's wearing floral patterns, so. Peter's trying to shape his, there's templates from Paul. 15 grams of dough, shape it into a cigar shape. I've never seen a cigar that looks like that, so, but maybe in Paul's world. Okay, everybody's trying to get their heads around it. Press the ends by overlapping 1 centimeter. It's like a sleep podcast. Ermine says, this is like rocket science. Dave says, makes no sense. Peter says, I read it 6 times. I still don't understand. Yeah, everybody's like, I don't like when they do these. So, I mean, it's just my opinion, right? And I don't make a show. So, I mean, I make a sleep podcast, not a cooking show that's entertaining. So I think Peter says, I think I got it. It's like circles within circles, thick at one end. Dave's guessing. Laura's having a tough time. She's like, this is like beyond me. I can't, my logic brain is not like making sense of this. So what if I can't present anything? Matt says, you're going to do something. Come on. Cause you're here for a reason, you got here. So, like, don't smash it, but don't smash it, So he's cheering her on. Okay, and she tries to cheer up, right? but this doesn't make any sense. People are trying to make circles and make sense of it. Okay. Peter's starting to feel good about his shapes. I don't know if everybody starts helping one another or what. Laura's like, I want a glass of gin to do after I do this. And Peter says it's going to come down to the bake. 10 minutes he's going to give it. Dave's going to give it 15, but check it at 10. Ermine's going to freestyle it. And Laura, she takes hers back out. I didn't turn my oven on, so we're going to whack it up for a bit. Then it's time to make chocolate. Be strategic. Acetate. Pipe chocolate scrolls. Got Ermine's melting her chocolate. Noel's popping in for a chat. You okay? Can I go on your shoulders? No, I'm trying to get into the final, dude. He's like doing material. I can't imagine. This is a challenge at this one. And he's making her laugh. And I think this is it does make it boulangers. Voici amis all the way through. They say, is that good French, Hermine? No, not good at all. Okay, everybody's, coming in, I don't know, 10 minutes, 10 more minutes. I have no idea. Laura's are just going in. She needs another timer. Well, I'll just look when they're brown then. Then you got to make pipe chocolate scrolls onto a acetate. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like, acetate over a piece of paper for the outline. Wow, that is, I can't, this is not my thing, man. I could not do one of those. Even if I was good at everything else, like I can't even draw a straight line. Everything comes out. Peter's are a little bit overcooked, he thinks. Everybody's like, mine are cracked. Are they supposed to be cracked? Dave's puts his in for longer. Don't want to go over too much. See the outside of the tent. Laura's come out, all cracked, falling apart. She's down. Dave's comes out. Okay, mine are the right color, maybe. Royal icing time. Icing sugar and egg whites. Then we got to decorate the biscuits. Pipe zigzag patterns on the cooled rings. Leave to set. So we got to do the icing. Okay, and they're starting to look scruffy. Well, that'll have to do. Hermine's look a little bit more professional, but she didn't seem happy either. Half hour left. Step 12, make caramel. That'll glue it together. 200 grams of sugar. Laura's like, I'm doing it by, I don't have time to measure it. So everybody's trying to melt down their caramel and bind it or whatever. Dave's goes crystallized. He's always has trouble with caramel, he says. Tower of Doom, Laura says, I'll start working on it. So have you been to Universal Studios, Orlando? They got that there. Matt is watching Peter try to put his together, supporting the horn with each ring. One ring horn to rule them all. Okay, so they're putting them together. Not the prettiest of jobs. Peter stuck sugar kisses? No, he didn't say that. I said that like the song. 5 minutes left. People are making towers. It kind of looks like something you see in Whoville from The Grinch, like a cookie tree in Whoville versus a horn. The Whoville cookie horn tree. I think Ermine's the only one that gets the right shape. Laura's is like a tower, which is understandable. One person's is like inverted. Yeah, Ermine's looks like a cornucopia. Dave's is like a hoo tree. Peter's is like on its side right now, but I think his is going to be like a tower. Oh, no, his is just like interesting. Laura's is not to be mean, like a straight up mess, but maybe it tastes good. We'll find out here. She just says, I thought the matcha pancakes were bad. This is worse. So they put them up. Okay, so just, yeah, so Dave's is a hoo tree. Peter's is a tower on its side. Hermine's is a cornucopia. And Laura's is like a tower on its side. So they laugh at Dave's. It's upside down, man. Paul's saying stuff about it. No chocolate. He tries to put it like, why didn't you just put it on its side like a cornucopia? Graduation of the rings. They take bites of it. Too hard, overbaked, bone dry. Shame, though, lovely flavor. Almond lovely. Next up, Peter, they got chocolate. We might have been standing up at one point. Icing's nicer. Graduation's okay. Not a horn, though. They crunch into that. The little ones are overbaked. Top ones aren't. You can't bake them at the same time either. They're different sizes. Some of them are good. And it has chocolate. Laura's, it's all over the place. Color of the rings all over the place. The person did not understand at all. What are they trying to do? They bite them almost raw. Prue juggles like a marzipan. There's issues. Last one, nice shape, overbaked though. Is chocolate on there. Icing. The icing's supposed to come down the side so you could see it. I can't see it. Flavor's okay. It's softer. So then they try to rank them from worst to best. Last place is Laura. Almost everything is wrong. It does look a mess. And it was underbaked. Not your finest hour. Third spot, Dave. It's a little bit solid all the way through. Second place is Hermine. Almost there. It was close. The decoration was awful. Baked in the right shape. First spot, Peter. No horn shape, but it was delicious. And the icing was good. And there's chocolate. So well done. And they clap. He says, okay, it hasn't been a bad day, but I don't want to be complacent because there's only 4 of us. Anything can happen tomorrow. Hermine's really happy, right? I can't complain. Peter's doing better, but he's good with detail, which I'm not. So again, this doesn't make sense right now to me, but getting tougher as we go along. Showstopper tomorrow. That's what Dave says. And Laura's like, I'm glad it's over. It's always tomorrow. We see a duck and ducklings. And who's going to be Star Baker? And who's going to miss out? Hello, Bakers. Welcome back. Semifinal Showstopper Challenge. Paul and Prue. Cube cake. It's 25 mini cubes shape cakes into a cake. This is precision. Cubes need to be sharp, uniform, and neat. And exquisite finish. Your mini cakes can be flavored and decorated however you like. You can use non-edible sports to stack the layers. And you'll get extra points if the whole thing is edible versus only part of it. You got 4.5 hours on your mark. Get set, bake. Okay, one last challenge before the final here. And you're going to have fun today. Bake from the heart, Laura will. Noel says, Hermine, this it's right up your street. You're going to be in the victory spot. 4.5 hours. It's hot. It's grueling. Paul says, cube cake, straight edges, flat sides, Rubik's Cube, Patisserie week, precision, artistic flair, baking skill. Bruce says, this is sponge cake, so it better be flavored beautifully, textured well, and something in the sponge like a mousse, a melted chocolate, or a ganache. These bakers are amateurs, but pushing themselves to be professionals. That's what I thought. That was my quote at the beginning. But it wasn't until this part of the episode. We see some lemons. And we start off with Peter, raspberry pistachio cube cake. My favorite, Matt says, magic. 3 flavors running through the cake, 3 sponges, mousses, and glazes. Clever. Go big or go home. It's ambitious. 3 cubes, different combinations of flavors, chocolate, raspberry, and pistachio, mousses, mirror glazes. Sounds good. Crack on, man. Matt says, I won't disturb you, but I will. So he says, go hard, go fast. And in the end, hopefully I'll have time for the Patisserie precision if I get done, if I get a... So Peter's hoping practice makes perfect. Ermine's going into the unknown. She says she changed her plans. When I practiced, it didn't go well. So everything I'm doing today is something I came up with last night, new. Yeah, when did you decide? Oh, yesterday morning. Yesterday? Okay, she's gambling everything on the cube cake, 2 varieties of strawberry, cherry, coffee, and praline, Gicande. Sounds delicious. If it works, it'll be amazing. Matt says, yeah, I guess you got to take a risk. If fortune flavors the bold. Oh, favors the bold. The sponges got to pack plenty of flavor. Coffee and my chocolate sponge to bring the flavor out. Texture's got to be spot on, too. Pistachio frangipane. These are words I've heard before, but I don't know the meanings to. Or I probably looked them up in the history of the podcast and forgot the meanings. Deliciously delicate, but able to hold their shape when they need to. So that's interesting. Okay, 190 at 12 minutes. Dave's doing a chocolate cube cake. Say, who you calling a chocolate cube cake? And Dave's cubes will also contain white milk or dark chocolate or liquid caramel center. But the temperature's rising, And it is going to be hot today. Okay, well, good luck. Praline mousse for Ermine. I got a clear vision. There's a lot of elements to juggle. Chocolate hazelnut mousse for somebody else. Peter listens to his cakes. If they bubble, they're not done. No lapses in concentration. This would be, not good. Somebody split their cream. Ermine's working on cherry kirsch, which is a cherry liquor, I think, onto her cake. Laura's doing a Black Forest gâteau. This is one of her dad's favorite cakes. 5 layers, biscuit crumb, chocolate sponge, 2 mousses, dark mirror glaze. And Bruce says, I'm looking forward to this. One of my favorites. Okay, these are one of my favorite things, too. I'm proud of it, Laura says. That's the spirit. You like it, I like it. Good luck. So she's working on the flavors, setting time. Concerned with the mousse is, you say mousse, I say mousse. So everybody's, trying to get the right thicknesses with gelatins and stuff, quantities, concoctions. Go easy on the gelatin, man. Noel says, I've ate Jell-O for a snack. In the 70s, I wore gelatin shoes. Laura's happy with how her cakes are starting to look like pre-cake mode. Got to make a biscuit cake stand, somebody says. Everybody's got to get everything to set. Dave's having trouble with caramel again. Caramel's not my friend. And now we're halfway through. Bakers, you're halfway through. So now it's also trying to assemble things. A lot of people are using these red molds Peter says he's going to cut his. He's not going to use, he's going to make a frame and then cut slices so they're neat. White chocolate Bavois. Keep it neat. Dave's balling out holes for his gooey center. Laura's putting cherries in there. And it's getting hot in the tent. And stuff's getting watery as the temperature rises. Cherry mousse. Matt's interrupting her. I mean, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying, like, or maybe I am. He's kind of running an interview. I guess everybody has to deal with it, though. Peter says, rinky dink into the freezer. Okay, it's going good. Raspberry glaze, chocolate something, pistachio glaze, mirror glaze, gelatin. How much you got to put in there? Glazes are tricky. Everybody's got to make their shapes as well for stuff that's not molded. Dave says, I'm a square guy anyway. And Laura's like me. I'm a messy cook, man. I'm probably messier than her. I mean, especially in the final assembly. Crack on. Come on, we got to get through this bake. And Noel says, and then you get to the final. And they all have a laugh. Ermine says, this is not great. Where's Noel? Noel's throwing his voice. No, he's standing next to Matt, a silly goose. Okay, not everything's setting for Ermine. Keep adding the layers. Then Laura and I think Dave can't get their cakes out of the cubes, so they have to cut them out of the cubes, which is probably time-consuming. Good thing I'm not there, because it would be messy. Ermine's aren't quite set, so this is not going well. Peter's lucky that he's cutting his into cubes, and he's good at that. And it's like costs £9 for those things. And then Noel says, Prue pays for it. I do her hair anyway. Then we go to Narnia for 3 hours. It's a really wild thing. Okay, so they're trying to get finished. Let's glaze some stuff. And get it ready. Not a lot of time left. What if this, so everybody's putting their glaze on. Laura's glaze is not sticking. Hermine's are a little jelly-like. Dave's getting his cube assembly going. Laura's kind of look like s'mores or something. Her whole workstation looks like my kitchen a lot of times. And, yeah, a lot of last minute. This has not gone like practice. And Laura and Hermine are kind of like, going, man, I believe in you. You believe in me. Yeah. 10 minutes left. Time for final decoration. Peter says it's not far off of perfection. Almost like poking the BA, let's say that's risky, man. Whatever. I guess he believes himself, which is good because he should. Okay, 1 minute left. And everybody's trying to get everything in. Snug as a bug in a rug. Laura's like, I wish my mirror glaze worked. I'd be proud of this if it did. And Hermine and Laura kind of look like they're not happy with their work. Step away from your bakes. And Dave and Peter are more happy with the results. And then Peter and Hermine are eating some berries, talking. Laura's workstation. Everybody's trying to clean their workstations. Showstopper time. Dave, go first. So Dave goes up. His does look good. It looks like cake bites almost. These look great. Neat, uniform, tidy. Chocolate is holding. Brave choice. Base is interesting. That's neat. Caramel in the middle. Prue takes a bite. I think they're a triumph. Caramel's delicious. It's at the melting point. It oozes perfectly set. get a filling fudgy. You've improved a lot, Dave. And he goes, yeah, I feel like I've improved too. Well done. Cheers. Well done. Okay, then Laura's up. And so the heat's taking a toll and made it difficult because it's melting, looks messy, and this is Patisserie week. Then they take some bites of it. Bruce, like, this is absolutely delicious. And even Paul loves the flavors and the textures, the whole cherries. Not the best you ever made, but worth it. They say, well done, Laura. Then Peter's up. And they say, this is so clever, Peter, and complicated. Overall look, you got a nice shine, set beautifully. Mousse and sponge is gorgeous. Let's try one of the other ones, like this one. Works beautifully. He goes, can you try the final sponge? Because I'm proud of that one. And Prue loves it, a Frion cake or something. Paul does a fake out, and so not nice. And then he says it's delicious. And they say, well done, smashed it. Okay, then Ermine's up. They said, doesn't look great. Not my finest. Not quite set. It's melting. And they open it up, and more raspberry than cherry. I love the flavor. This is like a panna cotta. This other one, stodgy, bouncy, too much, it's like a ball, rubber ball. And they're really disappointed. By your standards, it's a failure, they say. Holy cow. And she's disappointed. She goes, this is my first disastrous week, kind of. It's a shame. So it's 50-50. Peter's happy, got a handshake. So Dave's like, I could get Star Baker here. Paul said it was a triumph. It's going to stick with me forever. Laura says that was better than I expected. So it's between me and Hermine. And you think everybody's in agreement on that, right? Which is surprising that Hermine would even be at risk. I mean, in my opinion, I guess. So they say, yeah, Peter's is amazing. Flavors are amazing. But either one of them could get a Star Baker. They say this wasn't Hermine's finest hour. But in her defense, she did two things. Laura did one. But Laura's was delicious. And how many showstoppers has Laura saved herself? 5 times? Yeah. This would be the worst time to go out. But that's the position we're in as judges. And they say, okay, Matt gets to do Star Baker. Couple of candidates, but the Star Baker is Peter. So well done. Dave's happy for him. Noel has to announce who's leaving. And just kind of weird after last week. I don't know. Because this is someone who I thought was going to, I honestly thought 100% chance of winning like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So maybe it's my fault. But it's Hermine. I thought it would be Hermine in first and Peter in second, or maybe Peter wasn't going to make it back after last week. But I guess this is one where I know Hermine's going to be successful no matter what. But she says, yeah, there'll be a lot of happy memories, proud moments, lot of real genuine hugs, but I mean, this was the first time, honestly, that now watching back on, okay, I get it. I mean, maybe this is the 3rd time I've covered Bake Off. Maybe I've thought this before, but it's like, I'm like, I can't believe it. Laura's really happy that she made it into the actual final. So she's so happy she can barely even talk. And it's sinking in. And Prue's very proud of Dave. Dave's very happy. He's like, I can't believe this either. And again, yeah, it's just my thoughts. But, I guess it's hard. Like, it was different last time I watched the the season before this, it was someone, the person I thought was going to win, they just had a really rough final. So it's like, okay, like, yeah, unfortunately, you're not going to win. This one was kind of different. I mean, I guess like, but yeah, I mean, this is why it's reality TV, right? So yeah, that's the end of the episode. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. And we'll be back with the finale, I guess about in a month or so. I don't even know. I mean, I'll probably be recording it in a week or two. But yeah, thanks so much for listening and good night. All right, everybody, Scoots here. This is your Tuck You In message, mostly for super listeners, though any listener that's listening right now, you could partake in this by, like, if you're a temporary listener, you're a new listener, you only listen from time to time, remember that what I talk about in the intro, other listeners are rooting for your good night's sleep so you can receive that energy and comfort across the deep, dark night that other listeners are sending you. And you could send it out right now, right? You could send out your comfort or rooting for other people, even if they can't sleep, even if they're awake right now, that they have some comfort and relief, some companionship or some distraction in the deep, dark night. So you can receive or send any listener. You could do that. Now, with super listeners, would love it if you're, particularly if you're listening right now and you happen to be listening and hearing me and you fall asleep fast or you're an all-night listener, you're the two key demographics that literally the future of Sleep With Me will depend on if any of you end up hearing me and listening to me. More than are currently doing so, or if I just slowly get through to more people that fall asleep fast, people that listen all night long, and then any other super listeners, people that have been listening over 3 years, people that have been listening over a year, people that have been listening over 5 years, people that listen 4, 5, 6, 7 nights a week. You're the listeners I kind of need. Well, I mean, the reality is like, if you're listening to me right now and hearing me, whether it's in this Tuck You In message or before the podcast starts or in the mid-roll of the podcast, the reality is you're like, and I think a lot of people dismiss this, but the stats back it up. Really, you're the one person listening and hearing me right now. And that's why I'm trying this new approach, because we still have to get through to people whose lives are made better by the podcast, that we need your support on Sleep With Me Plus. But it starts before that, right? And while I have to keep asking for support and keep pointing out how important it is if you value the podcast to support it back, and that Sleep With Me Plus was built with super listeners in mind, no ads, different versions of the show designed for people that fall asleep fast, people that listen all night long, people that have very specific favorites and like to build playlists of their favorites, people with particular tastes about the podcast of certain episodes but not other styles of episodes, people that are super fans of the podcast, super listeners, people, and I don't know, or if you're hearing me and listening to me right now, are you a super listener? If not, just root for other listeners or be rooted for, or if you're curious, check out a trial of Sleep With Me Plus. But any super listener, there's 4 stages, I guess. Let me look at my notes here. Well, the whole thing I've been doing in the intros over the past few months and in the last minisode is that we're here rooting for other listeners, right? Or being rooted for in the deep, dark night. Because that's what the show's about, is like gentle caring, gentle relief at a distance, sending comfort across the deep, dark night to people that are out there, people just like you, or people a lot different than you, but that we all share something, right? And now is where I'm trying to deepen that conscious connection and choice in a multitude of ways. So each time you listen to the show now, you get this chance to participate in a passive way and think about who else is listening right now. Like, are you, because there's a strong possibility when I get to these messages that you might be the only one listening and paying attention right now, but maybe there are a couple other people listening and paying attention right now. And do they listen the same style as you? Are they struggling with sleep in the same way you struggle with, or is it different? And can you root for them? Maybe they're an all-night listener, or maybe they fall asleep fast, or maybe they're an occasional listener just going through a tough time. And you can decide, do you want to root for them? Do you want to send them comfort right now across the deep, dark night? And can you sense that they're out there rooting for you to fall asleep or to have some relief or to have a distraction and a friend in the deep, dark night? That they're bore friends with you, right? That not just me as the person that narrates this podcast, but that there's someone else out there hoping that your life is more manageable tomorrow. And ideally that you could be out there flourishing on a regular basis. And if you're a super listener, right, particularly, again, if you're an all-night listener, you listen multiple times a week, or you fall asleep fast, or you've been listening for years, maybe you're the one all of us are quietly rooting for to support the show, because we do need to reach that goal of 1,500 super listeners supporting the show back. And that's out of a large number of super listeners. But the thing is, most super listeners are like, no, so it's someone else will do it. I'll do it later. Well, right now, you could do it, right? You could root for another person. You could be rooted for. You could do both of those things. Or you could support the show, or you could root for someone else to support the show. Who is it out there that you're rooting for? Like, who is going to be that hero or heroine? And maybe they're hearing, maybe you're the one, you're hearing all the other listeners starting to root for you. Are you out there? Are you going to support the show? Maybe you support it because you want ad-free episodes. You're supporting it for yourself, and it helps other people. Or maybe you're supporting it because you listen all night long and it's just more convenient to support the show and listen all night long. Maybe you're going to support it because you want it to be there for you in 6 months or 12 months or 3 months from now. Maybe you're going to support it because you know the podcast makes your life better. And you hear me and you know I'm serious. You say, hey, we can't do this without especially all-night listeners and people that fall asleep fast, but all super listeners, a percentage of them supporting the show back. That's how we pay the bills. That's how we're able to be here. But maybe it's not you, but can you root for that person? But maybe it is. Can you feel all those listeners rooting for one another and then rooting for that one person out of 20, right? That's who we need, of super listeners. So are you those 19 people getting rooted for and rooting for? That's pretty cool. It's cool enough. Or are you the person we're all rooting for to support the show? If you're hearing me and listening for me right now and you can hear that, it's like yeah. Rooting for you to support the show. Don't wait, right? That's the biggest thing I've been learning from this campaign, from the people that do end up supporting the show. They're like, yeah, I was tuning you out. Where I was kind of passing on the message, saying, I'll do it later. Somebody else will do it. I want to do it, but I don't know. How many of those listeners are rooting for you right now to overcome those small obstacles and support the show right now at sleepinmepodcast.com/plus? I know I'm rooting for you, but I'm rooting for every listener. That's why I'm here. That's why the show isn't behind a paywall. That's why I work so hard, and that's why I'm willing to put myself out here and kind of have other listeners have strong feelings about me asking directly, because you're important. And that's why I show up day after day, night after night. I love making this show because I love participating in this thing where I know what it feels like for me in the deep, dark night. You know what it feels like for you in the deep, dark night. And you know there's other people out there that share this with us. And in the end, that's really what it's about. So I don't know if you could feel that. And I don't know if you could send it or receive it. And sometimes you might need to receive that energy. Sometimes you might want to send it. But a lot of times it's just nice knowing it's there, at least for me, knowing that you're out there And the other listeners are out there too. So thank you so much for listening to the show. And if you decide the podcast has changed your life for the better, and you want to make sure it's like you want to be that person we're all rooting for, you could support the show right now at sleepingmatepodcast.com/plus. And then set up the bonus content tomorrow when you're more awake. Thanks.